Did ancient astronauts really build the pyramids, or have we been misled by sensational television for decades? Today, we're bringing in real archaeologists and astronomers to scientifically dismantle the most popular ancient alien theories that have captivated millions worldwide. Get ready to discover the truth behind the mystery. Welcome back, space enthusiasts. The ancient aliens hypothesis has become a cultural phenomenon, suggesting that extraterrestrial beings visited Earth thousands of years ago and influenced human civilization. From the pyramids of Egypt to the Nazca Lines of Peru, proponents claim these achievements were impossible without alien intervention. But what does real science say? Let's dive deep with our expert panel. Our first theory to examine is perhaps the most famous, the construction of the Great Pyramid of Giza. Ancient alien theorists argue that the precision and scale of these structures prove they couldn't have been built by ancient Egyptians with primitive tools. They point to the perfectly cut limestone blocks, some weighing over 80 tons, and the pyramid's alignment with true north to within 1/10 of a degree. Dr. Sarah Mitchell, our archaeological expert, let's hear your response. Dr. Mitchell explains that this argument fundamentally underestimates ancient human ingenuity and organization. Archaeological evidence shows exactly how the pyramids were built. Quarry marks, copper tools, wooden sledges, and extensive worker villages have all been discovered and studied. The ancient Egyptians had sophisticated mathematics, astronomy, and engineering knowledge documented in their own writings. They used simple machines like levers, ramps, and counterweights combined with massive organized labor forces. The precision wasn't supernatural. It was the result of careful planning, skilled craftsmanship, and generations of architectural evolution. We can trace the development from earlier step pyramids to the smooth-sided masterpieces, showing clear technological progression rather than sudden alien gift. Moving to our second claim, the Nazca Lines in Peru. These enormous geoglyphs, some stretching hundreds of meters across the desert, are visible only from the air. Ancient alien proponents ask why would ancient people create massive drawings only aliens and spacecraft could appreciate. They argue these lines served as runways or signals for extraterrestrial visitors. Dr. James Rodriguez, our astronomer and archaeological astronomy specialist, addresses this theory. The premise that these lines are only visible from the air is actually false. Many can be seen from nearby hills and mountains in the region. Archaeological research has proven these lines were created by the Nazca culture between 500 BCE and 500 CE. The creation method is well understood. They removed the reddish surface stones to reveal lighter ground beneath. No advanced technology needed, just dedication and planning. But here's what's crucial. These lines had deep religious and astronomical significance for the Nazca people themselves. Many align with solstices, equinoxes, and the rising and setting points of important stars. They were ceremonial pathways used in religious processions related to water and fertility rituals, essential in their arid environment. This wasn't for aliens, it was for their gods and their survival. Theory number 3 takes us to Puma Punku in Bolivia. This ancient site features precisely cut andesite blocks with complex interlocking designs. Ancient alien advocates claim the precision cutting and drilling of these extremely hard stones would require diamond-tipped power tools unavailable to ancient cultures. Some blocks have perfectly smooth surfaces and exact right angles that seem impossible to achieve manually. Dr. Mitchell breaks down this misconception. First, the ancient Tiwanaku people who built Puma Punku around 536 to 600 CE were master stonemasons with centuries of experience. They used harder stones to shape softer ones, a technique called pecking and grinding. Archaeological experiments have successfully replicated these techniques. The precision, while impressive, isn't actually as perfect as claimed when measured scientifically. Natural erosion and modern reconstruction efforts have also altered the site's appearance. Most importantly, we found the quarries, the tools, and even unfinished blocks that show the progression of their work. The complex interlocking designs reflect advanced planning and mathematical knowledge, yes, but human mathematical knowledge documented in their culture. Our fourth theory involves ancient Sanskrit texts from India, specifically the Vimanas described in ancient Hindu epics. Ancient alien theorists interpret these flying palaces and chariots as descriptions of actual spacecraft, claiming ancient Indians witnessed and documented alien technology thousands of years ago. Dr. Rodriguez provides crucial context here. These texts are religious and mythological literature, not technical manuals or historical documents. Every ancient culture has mythology featuring gods traveling through the sky. Greek gods had flying chariots, Norse gods traveled on magical creatures, and Celtic legends describe aerial vessels. Interpreting these as literal spacecraft requires ignoring their cultural, religious, and literary context. The Vimanas are metaphorical and symbolic, representing divine power and celestial realms. When we analyze the actual descriptions, they're inconsistent, fantastical, and don't match any coherent technology. They're beautiful mythology, not evidence of ancient astronauts. Theory 5 brings us to the Antikythera mechanism, an ancient Greek analog computer discovered in a shipwreck. This device, dating to around 100 BCE, tracked astronomical positions and eclipses. Ancient alien proponents claim such sophisticated technology proves alien intervention, as it's supposedly too advanced for its time. Dr. Rodriguez enthusiastically debunks this one. The Antikythera mechanism is absolutely remarkable, but it's entirely explicable within the context of ancient Greek science and engineering. The ancient Greeks had extraordinary astronomers like Hipparchus and engineers like Archimedes. They understood gears, had developed advanced mathematical models of celestial motion, and created mechanical devices. We have written records of their astronomical knowledge and mechanical inventions. The mechanism represents the pinnacle of Greek engineering. Yes, but it's a pinnacle we can trace through their own documented scientific development. Finding sophisticated technology doesn't mean aliens. It means we sometimes underestimate our ancestors' capabilities. Let's examine Theory 6, the Dogon tribe of Mali and their supposed knowledge of Sirius B, a white dwarf star invisible to the naked eye. Ancient alien advocates claim the Dogon couldn't have known about this companion star without alien contact. Dr. Mitchell addresses this controversial claim. First, the anthropological evidence is disputed. The original research from the 1930s and 1950s has been criticized for potential contamination, where the researchers themselves might have introduced astronomical knowledge during their fieldwork. Second, Sirius is the brightest star in the night sky and held significance for many ancient cultures. The Dogon had sophisticated astronomical traditions, but the specific claims about Sirius B knowledge may reflect 20th century contact with Western astronomy rather than ancient alien wisdom. Even if they had this knowledge, it's more likely explained by cultural transmission from European explorers, missionaries, or schools in the colonial period than by extraterrestrial visitors. Theory 7 involves ancient megalithic structures worldwide that share architectural similarities despite being separated by oceans. Ancient alien theorists argue a common extraterrestrial influence explains why pyramids appear in Egypt, Mexico, and Cambodia. Dr. Rodriguez explains this through basic human psychology and physics. Pyramids are inherently stable structures, wide at the base and narrow at the top. This design naturally emerges when building tall structures with stone blocks and primitive tools. It's an example of convergent evolution in architecture, similar to how multiple cultures independently invented the wheel or agriculture. Humans worldwide face similar challenges, building monuments that could withstand time, earthquakes, and gravity. The solutions converge not because of alien blueprints, but because of universal physical laws and shared human cognition. Additionally, many similarities are exaggerated. When you examine these structures closely, they're actually quite different in construction methods, purposes, and designs. Our eighth theory concerns ancient batteries found in Iraq, the so-called Baghdad batteries. Ancient alien advocates claim these ceramic jars with iron rods and copper cylinders from around 200 BCE prove ancient people had electrical knowledge given by aliens. Dr. Mitchell clarifies this misunderstanding. While these artifacts could theoretically function as primitive galvanic cells if filled with acidic liquid, there's no evidence they were actually used as batteries. They might have been used for electroplating, but more likely they were simply storage vessels. We have no ancient wires, no electrical devices, no written records of electricity. The interpretation as batteries is speculative and not supported by archaeological context. Ancient people were innovative, but this particular claim lacks substantive evidence and certainly doesn't require alien explanation. Theory 9 takes us to ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs at the Temple of Seti I in Abydos. Some worn carvings appear to show helicopters, submarines, and other modern vehicles. Ancient alien theorists present these as proof that Egyptians witnessed futuristic technology. Dr. Rodriguez tackles this one with a simple explanation: palimpsest. These are overlapping hieroglyphs from different time periods. The temple was modified and recarved over centuries. What looks like a helicopter is actually two different inscriptions, one carved over another, with erosion creating a coincidental shape that resembles modern vehicles to our pattern-seeking brains. This phenomenon is called pareidolia, where we see familiar patterns in random or ambiguous stimuli. When you examine the full context and understand how hieroglyphs were reused and modified, the mystery disappears entirely. It's an optical illusion created by time, not a record of time travelers or aliens. Our final theory addresses the mystery of massive stone transportation in ancient times, particularly at sites like Stonehenge and Easter Island. How did ancient people move multi-ton stones across vast distances without modern machinery? Ancient alien theorists claim levitation technology or alien assistance. Dr. Mitchell provides the scientific answer. We've actually conducted numerous archaeological experiments demonstrating exactly how these stones were moved using period-appropriate techniques. Wooden rollers, sledges, lubricated paths, lever systems, and coordinated human labor successfully moved massive stones in controlled experiments. Ancient engineers were experts at mechanical advantage. They understood physics intuitively even without modern equations. At Easter Island, recent research showed the Moai statues were likely walked upright using ropes in a rocking motion. For Stonehenge, the bluestones traveled partly by water on rafts. These weren't easy tasks, they required enormous communal effort and planning, but they were absolutely achievable with human ingenuity, organization, and determination. So what's the harm in ancient alien theories? Some might say they're just entertaining speculation. But here's the problem our experts want to emphasize. These theories systematically erase the achievements of ancient cultures, particularly non-European ones. They suggest that brown and black-skinned people couldn't possibly have been smart or capable enough to build their own monuments. This is not just scientifically wrong. It's culturally disrespectful and rooted in colonial-era thinking that positioned non-Western cultures as primitive and incapable. Real archaeology and astronomy reveal something far more inspiring than alien intervention. Human beings across cultures and throughout history have been brilliant, creative, innovative, and capable of extraordinary achievements. The pyramids, the Nazca Lines, Puma Punku, and countless other wonders stand as testaments to human potential, not alien charity. The scientific method requires evidence, testability, and consistency with known physical laws. Ancient alien theories fail these criteria repeatedly. They rely on gaps in our knowledge rather than positive evidence, they make unfalsifiable claims, and they ignore the abundant archaeological and historical evidence that explains these mysteries through human achievement. As we conclude, remember that science doesn't claim to have all the answers immediately. Archaeology is an ongoing process of discovery. When we say we don't know something yet, that's honesty, not an invitation to insert aliens into the gap. The universe is filled with genuine mysteries worth exploring, from the nature of dark matter to the possibility of life on exoplanets. Let's direct our curiosity toward real science rather than pseudo-archaeological fantasies. Our experts want to leave you with this thought. Ancient people were us. They had the same brain capacity, the same creativity, the same ability to solve problems and dream big. They deserve credit for their achievements. When we study these ancient wonders with rigorous science and respect for the cultures that created them, we discover stories far more fascinating than any alien intervention theory, stories of human triumph, ingenuity, and the timeless desire to create something that outlasts our brief lives. Thank you for joining us on this journey through science and skepticism. If you found this exploration valuable, please subscribe and share. Let's keep learning, questioning, and celebrating human achievement together.